All right, we are live. Welcome everybody to the Friends live stream. And today's edition is going to be hosted on my channel. Oh no, we don't want that. I've got YouTube on my phone and I've got YouTube Premium, so it's still going on. So yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has shared their concern about me. I'm doing fine. Things are turning around. Insurance is coming through. Should be able to get a new car pretty soon. Health wise, concussions are very weird. It's up and down and up and down and up and down. But yesterday I was able to push myself with my workouts. I just did lower body. I held 20-pound dumbbells, which I shouldn't have done, but I'm okay. So we're going to take it easy. Got to conserve my energy and do the best I can, really. I'm just like motivated to just get back to full health. And I'm motivated to get back with, working out like a champ. So in today's live stream, we're going to talk about basically how to come back from a setback. And we're just going to discuss our own personal experiences and chat with you in the chat. So let's get it done. Now, I'm with Trail Sage, Kirsten QuickFit, and Paul from Dev Runner. And I will go with Trail Sage and just tell us what your channel is about, what you do, and explain away.
I guess in the most simplest form, I'm a trail runner, a mountain biker, and I review trails and products that I use. And I'm not a professional in any sense of the term, but
it's too big for me, and I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead.
That's pretty much it. I just review products and trails and give my opinions on the things that I like to use and like to ride and run it.
That's awesome. Paul, you're next. We're going to go clockwise. Yes.
Okay, cool. First, I want to say, before I get into me, I want to say Sage is being very humble. He does an amazing job.
Way too humble. Way too humble.
If you guys are into biking, or if you're interested in becoming interested in biking, go to his channel because it's so fun. It is so much fun. So, yeah, just to get past that, who am I? My name's Paul. I got the Dev Runner channel on YouTube. I'm the Dev Runner on Instagram. Basically, I'm an endurance runner. I'm also an RRCA certified running coach. Yeah, I like to do everything from the occasional product or shoe review on my channel, but mostly it's about training and advice on you as a runner so that you can become a better runner, a healthier runner, and do it in the safest way possible. And, that's really it. That's what I'm all about.
That's awesome.
And do it in the safest way possible. I'm hearing feedback.
Yeah, it's my computer, my bad. Kirsten, you are next.
Well, I'm so excited to be on here with you guys. And yeah, I agree with Paul. Sage, you're amazing. I mean, your videos are professional. Any cyclist needs to subscribe to you and learn about trail cycling and trail running. And I mean, you should have like dozens of sponsorships by now. And
you guys are too much.
No, I promise you. And Paul, everyone I talk to, they're like, yeah, talking to Paul about running. I'm like, oh, Paul's everywhere. Yay. Good job, Paul. And Daniella, I'm so excited to be on here with you because everyone loves you and everyone wants to find out how you're doing. And there's been so many people really concerned about you. And you know what? You are inspiring a lot of people because a lot of people go through injuries and sickness, and because this is life and we need to figure out how we're going to make it through life and still continue our journey of fitness, right? Oh, so about me. So my channel is fitness. I do workouts, Kirsten QuickFit. I'm doing 15-minute HIIT workouts this summer. Making it short, sweet and sweaty, I like to say. And yeah, that's it. I'm a health coach and personal trainer, and I do workouts. So it's me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I just thank you guys for connecting with me and doing this with me. So first question, we are going to talk about, have you ever had an injury? And if so, how did you come back from it? Sage, or we'll start with Paul. We're gonna reverse the order. We'll switch things around. Paul, you can go first.
Oh boy, maybe I shouldn't have gone first because I think I've had every running related injury in the book at least once, if not twice or three times. Um, yeah, so I mean, everything from hip problems to hamstrings to IT band to ankles to things that look a lot like plantar fasciitis, but in fact were not. I've had it all, and I've had it had them all in varying degrees. In my earlier days of running, I was the quintessential new runner of no, I'm motivated, so nothing's going to stop me. I don't care if I'm in pain, I'm going to run anyway, and only made things way, 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 way worse. And that kind of turned around for me. Started turning around maybe 3 years ago, when I started becoming more interested in doing things right and sort of becoming more motivated in the coaching direction. I started to think in terms of, well, I better practice what I preach, at least to a certain degree. So I started to back off when sort of little niggles would present themselves and not sort of push them into full-on injury. And we can go into that. I've got some pretty horrendous stories that we can get into later if we want to tell war stories. But yeah, I've become a lot smarter in the last couple of years about sort of listening to my body and being able to say, you know what, I will not lose nearly as much fitness if I back off for 2 or 3 days than if I try to push through and hope that it will somehow magically disappear. And because that never happens, everybody. If you're watching, things don't magically go away. They don't go away until you give your body the rest it needs. So, back off when you have to, and a couple of days later, you'll be good to go again with proper rest, hydration, nutrition, et cetera, et cetera.
Nice. So Paul, I know as runners, you guys are so injury prone. We are injury prone. I'm calling myself a runner too because I love it all.
You're a runner.
And so what do you do to help prevent injuries? I know people talk about the importance of strength training. Mm-hmm. And did you seek any medical attention while trying to sort through all of that?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is like prevention, of course. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about running or anything physical. Prevention, of course, is the way to go. And the best forms of prevention specifically for running are studying your form. Even as a beginner, knowing what proper running form looks like goes a long way to preventing injury. It's just something simple as the way your foot lands on the ground. Where in relation to your body your foot lands is a big deal. You don't want to be, I'm not going to go into a long diatribe here, but make sure you're landing under the main mass of your body. Don't have your foot out in front of you, landing on your heel, smacking down and sending shock waves up your legs. That's the easiest way and the most common way to get hurt as a runner. And then there's things like overuse injuries. You just take on too much too soon. It's just too many miles for your muscles and ligaments to handle. But as far as prevention goes, I would say you want a strong core. You want to make sure that you are running with proper form. But if you have a strong core and you're being careful with that, that will prevent 70% of the common injuries out there. Later on, if you want to become a better performer, a better runner, stronger runner, and more resilient runner, you can go into strength training. But that's a bonus. That's value added. That's just when you're getting started. I mean, as a very beginner runner, just having a strong core and just being out there regularly and running slowly will bring massive improvement to you in the safest possible way.
Awesome. Those are some great tips. Kirsten, what about you?
Well, doing fitness all the time and being a human being, like it's the human condition that your body is going to be affected in some way. So Yes, I overdo it. I'm dealing with a knee issue right now. I was dealing with a shoulder issue before. I've had, lower back issues just for overdoing it, because this is something we do every day. This is what we do. So the key word here is modifications. So I will continue doing what I do with modifications. I'll either go lighter on weight, or I won't use a weight. I'll go low impact. I won't do high impact. Like, there are so many things you can do to tweak it where you don't have to stop. You can keep going. And I'll tell my girls, I told them today, because they watch me. And they're like, if I stop doing something, they all stop. And they're like, are we done? I'm like, no, we're not done. Keep going. So I have to keep going. And I said to them today, I said, I'm doing low impact donkey kicks because I'm dealing with a knee issue. So I'm doing low impact, but you guys do high impact. So there are things we can do to keep going, and it's not copping out. It's enabling you to keep going in your journey. And I also want to mention being a mom. Being a mom, like I put myself behind my kids when my kids were younger. They went through a ton of stuff. So it's like all that stuff. People, women, moms, dads, don't beat yourself up, because it's not your choice of not doing something. It's that you can't do something. Like, I always put my kids first, and if they had something, then they had something. And don't beat yourself up because you have something going on in your life that is messing up your fitness schedule. Go with it. Don't beat yourself up. Don't be too hard on yourself. Just roll with it. Roll with it. Take that stress out of your life, because we have people in our lives we have to take care of. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is actually some great advice. I needed to hear that. I'm very stubborn. It's really hard for me to rest. When I got injured with the car accident, being still for 2 weeks was just punishment, absolute punishment. But as you said, we just have to learn to roll with it, modify where we can, and do what we can, which is what I'm doing. Like, I've only worked out 3 times since the accident, and right now, the only thing I can do is lower body. And when I do a workout, I've got to take a couple days in between each workout, because I just don't have it physically and with my energy levels, because I'm going through a concussion. So there is always something you can do, but at the same time, make sure you are taking care of yourself. Now, since we're going clockwise, I'm just going to further continue on with the injury I struggled with, or we're going counterclockwise, with the injury I struggled with giving birth and dealing with my core being weak. And Paul, earlier, you were talking about how the importance of the core. And as you were talking, I was just thinking in my head, how the heck have I been able to do that? And it has been a lot of willpower. It has been a lot of listening to my body. It's been a lot of treading the line, pushing myself. But when that pain is like, ow, holding back. It's been a lot of getting answers from doctors, taking painkillers, and supporting my body where I should. And eventually, that's why I was able to get to the level I am today. It's because without that injury, I would literally not be this determined in the gym, or this determined with my workouts, or this determined with anything, because it forces you to go into a deep part of your mind that allows you to just unlock that unlimited potential. And I was talking in my latest YouTube video how I felt that I lost that. I lost that fire, which is why I'm kind of taking a step back from social media and producing YouTube's videos and getting obsessive over things. I lost that fire, and I feel like I'm finding it again. Even though I'm injured, I'm putting my all into my nutrition. Like, I'm so proud of what I've been doing with my nutrition. I've just been eating tons of vegetables. That's really the trick. Stuff your face with vegetables. I've been eating lots of leafy greens, going low carb. Just, that's for me. That's how I get my body into where it needs to be. So yeah, when coming back from an injury, just take it slow. Be patient with yourself. Do not beat yourself up. I know it's easier said than done, because I do it a lot. I journal through my feelings. I speak to my therapist. I speak to my family and friends to help myself get myself through. So just know you're injured now, but you won't be injured forever. If I can go through 8 years of dealing with this injury on top of this neck thing I'm going through, you can do it too. You can come back from any setback. So yeah,
Amen.
I'll just say
Absolutely.
thank you. I'll just segue it into you, Sage. Brain drop. Sorry.
I'll take the handoff. I'll approach this question a little bit differently, and I feel like I talk about this all the time, but it was such a significant part of my life. About a year and a half ago, I broke my back mountain biking, as well as 2 ribs and both my wrists.
Oh wow.
And it changed my life in so many ways, right? I mean, I'm obviously not a spring chicken anymore. You can tell by the gray in my beard, but it just just the fact that life is so fragile, right? And the thing for me, the thing that hit me about this question was, it was not the actual physical injury. I'm pretty healthy person, pretty active person, so obviously, breaking your back and your ribs and your wrist, you can't do anything. So I was bedridden for a week or so, and then 2 weeks I was kind of able to sit around, walk around a little bit, and it took a while. But I guess what I'm getting at is that wasn't the tough part. I mean, yeah, it sucked not being able to be active, but I knew once my bones healed that getting back to where I wasn't going to be an issue, right? So getting my endurance back, getting my strength back. As an athlete, we're used to pain, right? Kirsten, I mean, like, look at you. You're like, I know you're used to pain. You're used to putting me through pain. These workouts. As athletes, right? You're conditioned to that pain. You want that pain, and so that wasn't the problem. The problem for me was confidence, and I think mountain biking is pretty unique in many ways, but I guess one of the things that makes it unique is it's such a physically demanding sport, but it's also really risky, right? To the point where you can obviously seriously injure yourself, but you could even die, right? There are places that you can ride, there are things that you can do on your bike that could really be dangerous. And one of the biggest differences between mountain biking and a lot of other sports is in other sports, like physical sports like football or MMA, someone else is inflicting the pain on you, right? In mountain biking, you're holding the keys. The pain that you inflict is on yourself. It's because of your own doing. So there's a uniqueness in that, in that your approach has to be a little bit different, right? You're receiving pain because you have done something incorrect. And so once my confidence was basically destroyed, it's now a year and a half, and I'm just now starting to get back to that space, right? Physically and endurance wise, I'm there. I'm running and riding as far as I was before the injury, but getting back to doing the things that I love and trying to follow my friends, off these drops and jumps, I'm just now starting to get that. And so what does it take to get to that point, I guess, is, my God, this is the longest answer. I'm so sorry.
No, don't. You're doing good.
You're a great journey.
What does it take to get to that spot? And for me, it came down to repetition, right? So doing it over and over and over, getting your mind used to doing it. If it's a drop, doing that drop over and over and over, hitting the jump over and over and over, getting your body used to those motions and getting back to riding with instinct, right? Instead of thinking about it, right, Paul? When you run, you're not thinking about, oh, left foot, right foot, left foot. It's instinct, right? It's instinct. And that's where you want to be with mountain biking. You don't want to be, oh, when I turn, I want to lean my, no, it should just come naturally, right? Yep. So repetition will do that. The other thing is, and I was thinking about doing a video on this, so I was glad this question came along because it forced me to think about it. And that is, when you come to a new feature, it's about risk assessment and then process. And so, when I get to a feature, let's say it's a drop, for instance. So a drop in a mountain biking world is basically the ground falls away. You have to clear a certain amount of distance to get to a landing that is some odd feet away. So I get to a drop, I get off my bike, and I actually have to study it. I literally get off my bike and study it. And if I'm with my friend, we're discussing, you know, have we done something like this before? Is there something I can relate to? And then the next thing I'm doing is I'm visualizing myself actually doing it. And it probably looks really ridiculous to other people, but I'll literally sit there and just kind of go through the motions and just visualize myself going over this drop and hitting the landing. And then once that's done, then you pick a commitment point. And so this part of mountain biking is pretty important in the sense that the commitment point is a physical line that you draw in your head that once I've passed this line, you can't go back. You are doing the drop, and
You're all in at that point.
You're all in, and it's usually because you can't stop after that point. If you try and stop, you'll get hurt.
Wow.
And so once you have that, then it just becomes a commitment issue, right? So it's you have the physical line, but then it's like in your head you have to commit 100%, breathe, and just let it go. Let your body take over. And so once I figured out that process, I think that's what's helping me get my confidence back, right? As long as I stick to that process and I'm honest with myself, then I know I'll be okay. You know, at least that part of it, I know I'll be okay. And it's kind of just the rest of it's, I guess, is up to me, you know, but as long as I have those processes in place, it's helped me get back to where I've been. And that was the longest answer. I apologize. Good night, everyone.
No, you did. You're just reminding me so much of what I'm going through. And I can just apply that, what you said about visualization, imagining yourself doing it. Because when you do that to your brain, you're actually tricking it into thinking that you are actually doing it. Your brain doesn't know the difference between imagining it in your head or actually doing it. So like right now, I'm visualizing every morning me at my goal physique, my goal weight, my goals. I'm visualizing, I'm picturing it. And I know my friend Louise's journey talked about that's how she was able to lose like over 100 pounds in like 10 months. She was able to do that because every day she visualized herself, not just picturing, but how she would feel once she would achieve that goal, how, you know, her life would change, how the quality of her life would change, how her confidence would change, and etc. So like if you are striving for any goal in life, practice visualization. I know it sounds a little, you know, kooky, but it does work because honestly, everything in life is psychological. It truly is. It's all about getting there in your mind first, and then reality will follow. It really will. Awesome. And then another thing that you said that I really love was that commitment line. Like once you pass that, there's no going back. And I know I'm long past that commitment line. Like I came this far, so why will I stop? And for anybody out there struggling with their journeys in weight loss, your commitment line should be the fact that you started. It doesn't matter what happened. The fact that you started, do not stop. Finish what you started. Find a way. It doesn't matter how hard it gets. Just keep finding a way and you will eventually get there, even if it takes you years. It's not a race. This is a journey. This is a lifestyle change. And it's also hard to change our minds when we are used to one habit for all of our life. When society is throwing, you know, one thing about how, you know, eating and food and all that, we were taught how to eat pretty much wrong. That's why obesity is getting worse and worse and worse. So just give yourself grace and just keep moving forward.
Daniella, I have to jump in on this because like the fact I love that you went into detail about visualization, because your example of visualization over the long term, the journey that you're on, is such a long-term goal. And to have visualization at your disposal to help you get there, to be able to lean on that crutch, to be able to close your eyes and engage all five senses to what it's going to be like when you get there is huge. And it's so important. just want to point out the fact that visualization is a huge, huge tool that the elite of any sport use. It's a normal part of their training. There's no professional coach who is training professional athletes that doesn't use visualization and hasn't for the last 30 years, when it finally became sort of mainstream. Mm-hmm. And a point I want to make to you, Daniella, is that the fact that you are already so committed to visualization and already so good at it is going to make you an incredible runner. Like as you progress in your journey with running, it's going to seem old hat to you, and it seems like you're so far past the point of thinking, oh, this is silly. Like you already understand the true value of it. So it's going to be such a great tool for you to use as you become a runner. And the only other point I want to make really quickly here, I'm not trying to, dominate this conversation, but
no, you're doing well.
Both you and Sage made some very good points about consistency. Being consistent and going with those small gains. I can hear Misty in my head right now.
She's in the chat.
Okay, cool. But yeah, getting those small wins consistently and just being out there every day makes the difference. That's where you get that muscle memory from, where that Sage was talking about. So you're not thinking about what you're doing. You've done it you've put in your 10,000 hours. So you're not thinking anymore. You're just out there performing at top level because your mind is on, you're running through your checklists of what you want to get done, but your body's just performing. It just takes care of itself. And that only comes from that consistency from day to day to day to day to day.
And that's discipline. It's discipline to keep your mind in the right place and to not let your feelings take over. So many times we can be so mean to ourselves. We'll be like, oh, I can't do this, or I don't feel like doing this today. Discipline, I can do it. I'm going to visualize myself doing it. I'm going to visualize myself achieving that goal. It's discipline. And that's what it comes down to. And Daniella, you have it. I don't like knowing you. I don't even think that it's an option for you to slide backwards because you're always going forward. You're always, and like you were saying, you're like, yeah, I kind of felt like I kind of lost my spark or whatever on social media. Are you kidding? Because every post I see, I'm like, yeah, girl, yes. You fire me up. I'm like, I'm ready to go now. So what we perceive inside is not what others perceive. Sometimes we can be so hard on ourselves, but other people don't see that. Other people see you as a motivator. You might be healing from an injury. We're still like Daniella because she's dealing with it in her way and what she can do. So anyway, yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And just one more thing about visualization. I remember I was doing this while I was going through my journey. Do it in the moment. If you're struggling with a workout, feel yourself completing that workout. If you're struggling with wanting to grab that piece of food, visualize yourself in the future, at where you want to be, and visualize yourself not doing that. Do that first thing in the morning, and it will just set the tone for your day. I'm going to go look at some comments now, because the comments did not appear over here on, what do you call it? StreamYard.
Yeah, I can't see them. I was wondering if there was anything.
It's because I had the live stream to unlisted, which I shouldn't have done. I now have it public, but StreamYard, when we started it, keeps it as unlisted. So that's my fault. My bad. I should have changed it afterwards. But I just want to say hi to everyone who's in the chat. Mitch and Carolyn, thank you. I see you. Welcome. Mitch and Carolyn says, it's consistency of showing up that leads to authentic progression and improvement. I absolutely agree. Love this trail, Sage. She was referring to something you said earlier, Sage. Misty's in the chat. Welcome. Cheryl Davis, welcome to the chat. Thank you for everything you've done for me, Cheryl. You are such a light in this world. You are a beautiful soul. Thank you for everything, and thank you for being here. Wellness with Frugal Mama, welcome. And Nick's Journey, welcome to the chat. I appreciate you being here. And to anyone watching the replay, thank you so much and welcome. So yeah, next time I will not do the unlisted thing. The reason why I put it unlisted because I didn't want to stress about algorithms, but I could have done that afterwards. I don't know. My brain's not 100% right now. So pardon me. Pardon me. So, yes. Next question. Speaking of social media, because social media can be so, if you're not in the right headspace for it, even if you're not a creator, it doesn't matter. It can really be damaging because you're scrolling, you're seeing these fake perfect bodies, you're seeing these perfect lives. But remember, people post what they want you to see. Not everyone's brave enough to share with you the hard times. So please do not compare your darkest chapters or your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20 or your lowlights to someone's highlight reel. Just it's good to have a social media cleanse. And my question to you guys as content creators, we'll start with you, Sage, is that do you take social media breaks? Have you ever taken a long social media break? Or do you like to take days where you limit the amount of time you spend on social media?
I have a naturally addictive personality, and I know that about myself. So I naturally steer away from most social media. Like I don't have a Facebook. I only have an Instagram because I have a YouTube channel and I needed a way to promote it. But I'm also fortunate to be growing up in a time in my at a time where that technology wasn't available to me. You know, like I look at my kids now who are 14 and 17, and they don't know a life without social media, right? That the phone is like part of their body now. You know, it's like, and I guess I was lucky enough to not have that stress, right? So I have a hard time understanding the stresses that my children will tell me about, right? Because I can't relate to some of it. You know, like the bullying is different now. Like the bullying when I was young was, you know, you got your underwear pulled up over your head and, you know, maybe you got shoved in a locker or something like that, you know. And the bullying now is so different, right? The pressures on social media are insane. And, you know, how much of that are we putting on ourselves versus other people putting on us? You know, it's a hard question. I avoid it by not letting myself get caught up in it. So I haven't had to take a break yet. To answer your question, my goodness, I am terrible. To answer your question,
you're doing great. You're doing great. Trust me.
To answer your question, I have not taken a break yet. I felt like I've needed to take break, but not because of social media, but because of how hard I push myself to produce content. I literally treat it like a job, and therefore I hold it to that same standard. And so I've wanted to take a break because of those kinds of reasons, but not because of the pressures of social media per se. So I'm the worst person you could have asked about this question, but I realize that it is real. Like I could see it on my kids' face, and we talk, right? And I think that's really important. I think it's important to talk as creators, as we're doing right now, but it's also important to talk to your peers and just keep everybody updated on how you're doing, because it's so easy to fall down into a hole or into an avenue. You can find answers, or you can find answers to support whatever it is that you're feeling. If you are feeling like you know, I hate this person, you will find articles to support that feeling. If you feel like, oh, potato chips are the best, you will find articles to support that potato chips, you know. And it doesn't mean it's right. And that's what's so scary, right? Social media that's what's so scary about social media. You don't know what's actually opinion and what's actually fact. And so, you know, we talk about that with my kids. You know, we talk about that and always questioning things. I'm going to stop. My God, where am I going? I'm digressing. No, I'm handing off. I'm handing off the baton.
I'm handing it right back to you because I have a question. Sorry. Because when you say that you feel pressure to produce content, it's because of your own personality and it has nothing to do with you wanting to achieve a goal on YouTube. Like, because wouldn't that, for me in my head, I'm thinking, isn't that kind of social media pressure? Because that's how I feel. I feel like I need to produce content more and more and more and more. So
Yeah.
that's my question.
So for me, I don't feel then, obviously there's that pressure, right, to meet a deadline, but that's not new pressure to me. That's the kind of work environment I grew up in. You know, you're meeting deadlines. Your clients ask you for a video due this day. Okay, you have to get it done. You have to make a logo or a website, whatever, on this day. Well, then it's got to get done. So that kind of pressure is not new to me. The pressure to always put 100% is all on me. Like, I can't let crap leave my hands, and I think that's a problem. I think that's actually a problem. Like, I talk to my other friends and like, just do it, just do it. And I can't. It's like, if my name is on it, then it has to be 100% commitment, 100% to the best of my ability. You know, I can't leave a little bit of a question mark, and that sucks, right? It sucks to be that hard on yourself all the time, but it also produces good stuff, I think, right? Like, I don't have $1,000 cameras and blah, blah, blah. I don't have that kind of stuff, but I spend the time, right, to script out the stuff, and I review it, and I put the storyboard together, and I think about all these things. You know, I think about all the questions that I would ask if I was doing a product review and I wanted to see these answers, you know, and I make sure that's all in there. So I don't have the best cameras, I don't have the best gear, but my content is to the best of my ability. And if I can achieve that, then I'm happy. And therefore I don't feel that pressure, I guess. You know, I'm happy. I gave 100%. That's all I can do, right? I can't give 110. I don't want to give 90. But if I gave 100, then I'm happy. That I can't ask of myself any more than that. And I think that's actually a good thing for people to think about, right? It's good to always think, if you gave 100, that's it. That's all you could have gave. Who cares? Nothing else matters. I tell my kids that all the time. If you gave 100% and you failed a test, I don't care. Who cares? Who cares? I mean, I care a little bit, but I'm like, who cares? You know, 100%. You studied all night and you still got enough. I don't care. I love you. I love you. You did your best, and that's it. And that's how I approach everything in my life, including work, friendship, everything. Everything in my life is done to 100%, and that's it. And therefore, I can't be upset with myself or upset with anybody else or anything. If I've known that I gave 100 and they gave 100, who cares?
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Sage. I absolutely love that. Paul.
Yeah, that's a very good answer.
That's why everyone loves Sage.
Yes.
Always give it 100%.
Tell that to my wife.
Tell that. You can tell. You can tell.
We're just hard on our partners sometimes. Don't worry about us. We're women, okay? Don't worry about us. You guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've got a little bit in common. I think probably all four of us on this screen have a certain amount in common with our commitment to our channels, as far as the quality, making sure that the quality is always there. And I think, you know, for me, when I'm feeling sort of that overwhelmed feeling from the social media thing, I've been on YouTube for like 2.5 years now almost. And I've never had like a big step away where I just kind of disappeared for an extended length of time. For me, the worst it gets, and it comes and it goes, is I like to produce 2 videos a week. And, you know, there's a lot of times you don't have to go back very far at all through my output to see places where it's just, I'll only put out like 1 video a week, and it's usually just like my training video because I'll film myself right after every run, and that's easy to produce that stuff. But you can tell I'm trying to put a little distance between me and the social media stuff if there's only 1 video a week. It's just kind of like me saying, you know what, there are other things in life that have to be, you know, that are more important, but I have to make sure that I'm seeing it that way. And the thing that's really interesting to me, something that I've been going through for about a year now, it's not a negative thing at all. I think it's just a sort of a journey of discovery more than anything else, where I'm trying to find the balance between sort of making sure that the quality, the technical quality of what I do is good and that it's well researched. To me, the most important thing with my videos is the research. As a coach, and even before I became a coach, it was always very, very important to me not to let anything make the final cut of any of my videos that wasn't based in scientific fact. I'm not going to pass anything on to any other runner or anybody else who's even interested in running that I can't say, well, here are the studies that, prove this. And if in the future it turns out to be wrong, that's one thing, but at least I'm backed up by what is current best knowledge. With that said, I've been really fighting the battle. For me, the battle with social media is more about trying to loosen up. You know what I mean? Like when I look at the first even full year of the videos that I put out, I think there was a lot of good content delivered by somebody who had no business being on YouTube whatsoever. And it's I'm trying to put more pressure is exactly the wrong word. I'm not putting pressure on it. I'm trying to let go a little bit and let a little bit more of my personality, a little bit more of who I really genuinely am shine through, even if it is full of stumbles and ums and ahs. Because I'm just getting to the point where I think it's because of the community, a very friendly community that I've sort of become a part of. You guys being a very important part of that community. But there's a certain amount of, I guess I'm sort of like what's the word I want to use? This is great airtime right now, me trying to remember the language. I guess I'm introverted. I've got a little bit of a wall between me and the world, and learning to let that just drop and just sort of be the genuine me. And if it's not good enough for somebody else, I'm just starting to learn, well, that's not so much my problem as it is theirs. So I'm just trying to get better at just being me and just letting a little bit more of the water just roll off my back. And sometimes, like I said, when I've only put out one video a week, it's because I'm busy reminding myself of that.
Okay, that makes sense. It's kind of interesting how we separate from social media in different ways. But to further talk about how you're letting go of, that hesitation, I feel you on that. Like, yeah, I have a lot of personality, but there's so much more to me that I have not revealed because you get that fear of judgment. But I also have a side of myself where I have a I don't give a what side. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
Like anyone in my real life, they know me. My mouth is loud. I say stuff. My hubby gets embarrassed by me. I don't care. I don't care what he thinks. I don't care what other people think. I just don't care. So I'm trying to translate that into YouTube. But the scary thing about that is, you've seen other YouTubers just get bombarded by trolls or negativity. And like in the real world, people won't do that. But on social media, keyboard heroes, they swing it away. And do I have what it takes to handle that? I believe I do. But once I get to that point, we'll cross that bridge when it happens. But yeah, I thought I would point that out. I do struggle with letting go of things as well.
Daniella, I'm sorry to interrupt.
It's okay. Don't worry.
One thing that I don't think I have to deal with, but I feel like you and Kirsten, you both have to deal with this is how much more difficult it is to be a woman on social media, and I'm just going to give a quick, I'm not going to say whose channel it was, but
no worries.
They had a channel, and in the comments, it was just all like inappropriate sexual remarks. I'll just say it that way, right? And it's like, as a male, and I guess a white male, I'm half Japanese, but I think people think of me as white. So and that's how people perceive me is maybe more important than that. I don't have to deal with that kind of stuff. At least I haven't yet. I'm wondering, what's that like? How do you cope with that? Like, I guess the question is to both of you, Daniela and Kirsten. Like, how do you get around that? Like, that's crazy to me.
I'll let Kirsten go ahead, and you take the floor, Kirsten, and I'll come in after you.
Yeah, it's creepy. And it's like, it happened kind of like in the beginning of my social media journey. And thankfully it hasn't lately. But I have a private group on Facebook. And when I was boosting certain posts, like an advertisement, like boosting challenges and stuff, that's when I got people that didn't really know me. And I was like shocked and horrified about some of the responses that came back. And I'm like, I'm never going to boost my Facebook post again, because it made me sick, because I was like, I don't want my people reading what they're saying. Like, it's just disgusting. And so when I stopped doing that, it's like, outside people weren't coming in. And so it really wasn't that much of a problem anymore. And I feel like my social media, like my Instagram, is pretty cleaned up as far as having creepies out there, like saying stuff. But it does happen. It does happen. And luckily there are things that you can block right away, so you can get that person off, because that's like a stressor that you don't really need nor want, And I think the bigger you get, like Daniela, like your YouTube is big. So the bigger you get on social media, on YouTube, Instagram, the more of that you're going to have to deal with. So being, a big channel or, having a ton of followers is great, but you're going to have to deal with that. And so that's a downside to that.
It's so funny how you say my channel's big. I don't think it is.
You're a rock star. I'm like, someday.
Oh, you're too kind. I don't think I'm doing it because I'm comparing myself to other people.
Compare yourself.
Yeah, but my son had a words of wisdom. My young son, I don't think he's 8 years old. I think he's just so mature. He's like, there's always going to be people better than you, and there's always going to be people worse than you. It doesn't matter. Just do what you got to do. I'm like, really? How did I raise you? So, yeah. He's very wise. But Kirsten, I just wanted to ask you about social media. Do you ever feel the need to take a break? Because you're always doing all these challenges. Like, how do you do it? Because I know you edit your videos on your own. And I look at people like Caroline Gervin, who constantly throws out a challenge, but she's got an editor. And I know you're doing a lot on your own. Do you ever feel the need to take a break?
I keep everything. I'm pretty good as far as knowing what I can take on and what I can take off. When I do vacations or weekends, I do take time off. I do take time away. I think that's really important to have positive downtime. When I'm in a bad place, I stay off social media, because I know, like, I just don't want to deal with it. Like, I'm like, I don't want my mind to go in a bad place. So I just stay off. So I'm very self-regulated that way. I know what I can take on and what I can't. I've been doing this a really long time, so I know what I can take on and what I cannot take on. This is my full-time gig, so I have a very regimented schedule. I'm like Sage, where I view my YouTube as part of my job. I had one of my boot campers today say, oh my gosh, like, I do your workouts when I can't come to boot camp. Thank you so much for having that on there. And that to me is affirmation, like, okay, like, I'm going to keep doing this. So to me, it's that important. And I want to put out good stuff. And I'm so bad technically. I'm bad with cameras, bad with lighting. I'm a one-woman show. I do the best I can, pre-production, workouts, like today I was all set up to go at a public park. And this woman and her 5-year-old son and this other woman came, and they just started setting up, like, in front, like where I had all my stuff. And I was like, oh, I must be invisible. Okay. So I just grabbed my stuff, all my stuff. I just grabbed all my stuff and I just kind of walked away, and I was like, okay. And I had to find another spot. But I'm like, part of that goes into like what I'm producing. Like, that's the kind of stuff no one sees. And so, so then I had to find a new place, and it's just crazy. But I love it. And I just keep doing it, and I do the best that I can. And I know myself, I see fitness stuff out on Instagram and I'm like, that's not me. I'm not going to show you my backside and be like,
Yeah, yeah.
me. I'm just going to do me. I'm going to do like workouts or I'm going to promote whatever. I'm just me and I'm going to stay being me. And if people don't like it, then that's okay. Don't follow me. I'm fine with it. Whatever.
And I absolutely love that you are just so authentically you, because you're a ray of sunshine. You're just such a light, Kirsten. Every time I see you on social media, I'm hyped. I'm happy. I feel your energy, and keep being you. I'm so glad you didn't succumb to any pressure, any social pressure to try and fit in. Like, you are a star. Keep on shining. Like, I absolutely adore you and I appreciate you.
I love
And
you.
I love you. I love you. And I like what you said about the comments. The comments, the nice comments keep you going. Like, I got a comment today and someone just touched my heart. I'm just like, this is why I can't give up, because I'm reaching people. I don't care about everything else. I don't care about the trolls. I don't care about the mean people. There are people I'm reaching, and that's the reason why I started this YouTube channel. I did not start it to become a big YouTuber. I did not start it to like explode and do this as, my business, although it's coming along. Like, that's eventually going to be the goal, but that wasn't my plan to begin with. But I saw how I was touching people and I'm like, I want to make this my life. I want to help people. But like, the fact that I get those comments, it just keeps me going. And I just appreciate each and every one of you guys that drop me those comments and share with me that I'm helping you, because I'm like, whoa, I'm making a difference. And that's all I really want to do. I want to touch people. I want to make a difference with my story and just help people out, because it's so hard. Life is hard. And I just want to be a light where I can, I can.
You are.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
And to further go on, thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate that. And to further answer Sage's question about dealing with the inappropriate stuff as being a woman. Yeah, I've had comments. I have comments about my chest. I know they're massive. There's nothing I can do. They're genetic. I've had comments about it. I don't care. I'm going to jump. I'm going to do burpees. I'm going to do whatever. I just can't find bras to fit them, okay? Not will they fit, but they don't keep them together. That's just life, okay? I don't care. I've had someone comment stuff. I had a racist troll one time on one of my live streams.
I was on your live with that, and I was actually crying. I was crying. I'm like,
yeah.
I was so sad.
Yeah. Like, my concern was you guys, because I don't care. People like that, it's like, you guys are not going to take energy from me. I don't care. You're pathetic. Move along. But I was worried about, like, everyone in the chat, because you were in there, Kirsten, Lexi was in there, and everyone was, like, freaking out. And then I got moderators, and that kind of never happened again. But yeah, like, that has happened. What I usually do is just press the block button, and you're gone. That's it. I block, delete. I don't let it bother me, because it happens once in a while. Now, I can't imagine for people who have it happening like constantly, like thrown at them. How do they deal with it? But then again, they're probably bigger YouTubers and they can probably pay for someone to deal with it. And if it gets to that point, I'll probably get one of my family members to just do that for me. So yeah, to answer that question. Anyone have anything else to add, or anyone want to jump in?
Yeah, one of the things that you started to touch on, Daniela, was, receiving a comment, right? And how good that feels to get positive feedback. And it got me thinking a little bit more too, right? And just in social media in general, right? But specifically for YouTube, because, when you're creating content, who are you creating it for, right? Are you creating it for the people watching it, and therefore your value is associated with the likes and comments that you get, which is, I'm not saying you, I'm talking aloud. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be like you, Daniela. No, I mean just, I'm just speaking aloud, right? How much of your value, not your, but everyone, how much of your value is tied up in likes and comments, right? It's such a dangerous, slippery, I can't see that word,
Slippery slope. I'll say it for you.
What you said, slope, because when you don't get those likes and when you don't get those comments, or you get a negative comment or a dislike, then your value drops, and that's a dangerous thing, right? And I think that I've tried to avoid that by focusing on just making content for myself. This is the content that I want to create for me, right? If you appreciate it, great, but I'm creating it regardless of whether you like it or not. I'm creating it, and I'm glad that you like it. I'm glad that you found it helpful, but it was really me. I created it because I wanted to create it. And if we're able to do that, right? If we're able to, and forget YouTube, like even an Instagram, like I put this picture up because I like this picture. It means something to me. If you can keep it to that, I think you're going to, not you, everyone will be a lot better off, because you're not placing a value of, oh, this person liked, these many people liked it, or, oh, I got so many nice comments. That's just the bonus, right? It's just icing on the top of the cake, right? So just watching how much value you place on likes and comments versus the value of your actual work and the value of yourself is something that needs to be separated, in my opinion, I think.
Sage, I am completely 100% with you. You know, to bring that back to sort of the way that bears out for me is like, I think of like the series that I do on my channel, Subscriber Spotlight. Every so often I'll just, somebody that I find genuinely interesting on YouTube, I will reach out, see if they're in the mood to be interviewed by me, and I just put it out there. And that whole series is exactly what you're talking about for me personally, because that's based on, I find this person interesting. I want to learn more about this person, and I want to share it with the world. And I hope you are of the same mindset as me to enjoy this conversation I'm having with this person. And if you don't, wow, move on to the next one. Eventually I'll get to somebody that you find interesting if you stick around my channel long enough. But, you know, I mean, like, I've been very lucky lately to get some sort of big fish, you know, some people that are like with broad appeal that have, you know, but that's never been I don't go out hunting for those, you know what I mean? Like, if those big sort of YouTube personalities come through for me and they're willing to talk to me, way cool. Of course, I feel like I've got a little feather in my cap, but I'm just as happy to talk to somebody who doesn't even have a YouTube account. You know, like somebody that I found out about on Instagram or something that just has a genuinely heartwarming story to tell. That's just as important to me. And I love shining that's why I called it Subscriber Spotlight, because I love shining a spotlight on somebody who, in my opinion, really deserves it. So yeah, I'm trying to become a little bit more sort of YouTube and social media savvy and be a little bit more aware of what's going to have that broader appeal. But I consciously make sure that I am not doing that exclusively. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to be a plastic channel. I want people to find genuine fun with it, you know? So,
you know, it's interesting when you said about, I need to be better at that, because I'm really hard on myself. And with the amount of time that I've committed to YouTube and the fact that it is part of what I do, I want it to be good and have high expectations. So I do get too involved in how many likes do I have? Oh my gosh, well, I got to change it up again, you know, like, because I do like to do it, but my channel is more of a service channel. Like, it's like, I want people to find benefit from working out with me, you know? And so when I see that there's not a lot of views or not a lot of likes, I'm like, okay, well, I wonder why. So but I wish I had that outlook of I'm just doing this. And if you like it, great. If not, I'm more like that on Instagram and Facebook. I'm kind of like, oh, well, if you don't like it, okay, that's fine. But on YouTube, I'm kind of like, man, what can I do to like make this work better? Because that's not getting good likes. You know?
I agree with you on that one. YouTube is the worst out of all of them, I would say, when it comes to that. I don't know why. But you have to know with YouTube, it's just fluctuations. Like people will be on it like before when I wasn't a content creator, I would be on it sparingly. Right? I would be on it for like a few weeks and then I would drop off for a month and I'm like, oh, let's see what's going on YouTube. And then I would come back. So the YouTube audience and likes and all that, it's a bit weird. So don't take it personal. It's really not anything you are not doing. It's just the beast of YouTube. And which is why I'm taking a step back to, figure it out, to figure myself out first before I can tackle that. But you keep producing that content, Kristen, because you've got amazing stuff on there. I enjoy working with you. I have to do your wall sit challenge after this live and then go on a long walk. I totally forgot to mention earlier in the broadcast that I have been working with Paul and he's my running coach. However, that has been stalled because life, but it's okay. I'll get back to it.
I know you will. That's, the one thing I can always count on with Daniella.
I always come back because I do enjoy running. And part of me focusing on my weight loss right now is because I know when I'm around 180 pounds, running for me, I can run for days. It's just easier on my body. I can do it for long periods of time and not feel completely winded. So that's one of the reasons why I want to kind of like focus on this and get my weight down. I'm still going to run. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. But to get down lower, I just can't wait because I know that's like my body's running happy spot. It's so weird to explain. But yeah, no, I'm going to get a treadmill. I'm investing in that and I'm going to make it happen because I just love running. I really do. And not a lot of people who are into like bodybuilding and lifting weights like cardio, but I love it. I love it. There's nothing I really hate. I don't think so. I love biking too. I love it all. Maybe swimming. Because I always get water up my nose. Boring. Anyway, I just want to end it off with you guys. I just want to thank you guys for coming on. And I would like you guys to share, do you have anything exciting coming on your channel? What are your fitness plans? Do you have any challenges going on? And what have you? We will go in reverse order because I forgot what order I went in last time. We'll start with you, Kirsten. Sorry, I'm trying to make this even. Right.
So I have a challenge group on Facebook, and every month I do a different challenge, and it's a wall sit challenge this month. So every day we have a different wall sit, whether it's time or whatever. I will be adding some weight to that. So every day will be different. We just got done with the plank challenge in May, and you guys may have seen Misty did it every day. She did a video about it. She posted it on Instagram. Girlfriend, I love Misty. She's in my book. And so she did it. She did a 5-minute plank on the last day of May. How awesome is that, right? 5 minutes. And so you think about that's what good challenges are for. They push you out of your comfort zone to achieve something you wouldn't do on your own. And it's all about support and encouragement. Like you go for it. So I do challenges and I try to intersect my social media. So I do Instagram with it. I do Facebook with it. Not so much YouTube anymore. Basically YouTube has become just my workouts. I have a YouTube consultant who helps me and he's kind of like, let's stick with your workouts right now. So that's what I'm doing. But yeah, challenges, and I'm doing hits. I'm doing 15 minutes, no longer than 15-minute workouts all summer because I'm like, you guys get outside, go outside. What stage?
Crazy.
Yeah, so that's it. That's it with me. That's what I have going on.
That's awesome. And I can't wait to join you with wall sit. whole
And you're on
other
the
world.
Fit Squad. You're on the Fit Squad. So Fit Squad is my private membership group. We do workouts on Saturday mornings together. We do private member videos, and we chat and we talk and we check up on each other. And we have questions. If someone has a question, one of us will answer it. And anyway, it's just like a small private group that we support each other and encourage each other. So
That's awesome.
Paul, what do you have coming up?
Well, we are 34 or 35 hours away from me possibly falling over and dying.
What? Don't say that.
your personal best.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm going to be in the wee hours of the night while it's still dark out on Saturday morning / Friday night. I'm driving down to South Carolina, and
Okay.
I am going to be attempting to run a 5-minute mile on a track.
You got it.
After like I think it's been like 9 weeks of sort of training, but it's a weird situation because the first 5 weeks were like me in a semi-injured state, so I couldn't run on the track. My body would not have tolerated the high stress of the high speed workouts. So I've only gotten about 4 or 5 genuinely solid weeks of training in for this. So it looks like it's going to be about 62, 63 degrees at sunrise on Saturday morning. And I'm going to be attempting to get as close to a 5-minute mile as possible. We'll see. We shall see. So I'll be doing that. And then I'm going to be taking a 5-minute breathing break after that's over with, pass or fail. And then I've got a friend, Michael, who's been on my channel a lot. He's taking another shot at running his first sub 20-minute 5K, and I'm going to be his pacer. So if I survive the mile, I've got another 19 minutes of work ahead of me to try to get him across the line in less than 20 minutes. So we shall see. It'll all get videotaped, and I'll be presenting it all next Tuesday. So everybody stay tuned.
Paul, what's your PB right now in the mile?
I only have like a Strava estimate, and I think it says it thinks I'm capable of a 5:34, but that's from a year ago. That's a year ago. So hopefully hopefully I'll do better than that.
All right, Paul, we'll be cheering for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we will. Cannot wait. One quick thing, I just want to say thank you to Fugo Mama for giving me my first super chat. Thank you. I've never had one. It's cool. Thank you so much. I'm honored. Now, Trail Sage. Sage.
I had all those long answers, and I have nothing for this. You were probably like, oh boy, here comes the book. No, I got nothing. I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing reviews and trail runs and trail rides, and that's it. I got nothing special going on.
What about your cool graphic tees?
Yeah.
I have a new one that's going to be coming out with a video from Arizona, actually.
Cool.
From the La Milagrosa Trail, which I did this like Latin flavored t-shirt. So it's got like a Mexican flavor to it, but I like incorporated bike stuff into it. So it's got like the traditional Mexican like skull. I forget what they call those. The
I know
sugar
what you mean, but I have
skulls.
no idea.
Sugar skulls, I think. You see them at Halloween.
What you're talking about?
Yeah. So it has like some of that, but like instead of like an eyeball, there's like a bike cog. It just it's awesome. You'll see it. I like it.
Awesome. You have a lot going on.
I'm excited. I'm excited for everyone, what everyone has going on. For me, you guys know what's going on. I'm going to be in and out of YouTube until I hit my goal weight. I'm focusing on hitting my goal weight. I can do that relatively quickly if I focus and dial in. I know I can. And by quickly, I mean probably by September, October, but I'm not going to put a date on things. So I'm disappearing. I'm focusing on my weight loss journey. I'm not going to focus on any algorithms. I'm focusing on healing my body. I'm focusing on getting a new car, getting my life back in order, and starting to work again. So once I get my life back in order and I feel like I'm in a good rhythm with my weight loss journey, I'll be back to posting regularly. But for now, I'll be dropping videos here and there. You'll still see me on Instagram because apparently I can't stop that. But yeah, I'll still be around. And I just want to say thank you so much to Paul, Kirsten, and Sage for joining me today on Fitness Friends. Thank you for Paul for setting this all up. And we will see you guys in, I guess, this month. Because we were supposed to figure it out. But we'll see you guys soon on someone's channel. Thank you so much for being here. I love each and every one of you. Take care. Bye.
Bye, everybody.